Mars of the United States went retrograde a few years ago, which I think has weakened them.
What would you say about the economy and what's coming up for the U.S.? Any thoughts, feelings, impressions?
Well, I think that while Jupiter's in Gemini, don't believe a word you hear. As far as the economy goes, let it spin. I think that until Uranus and Pluto are finished squaring each other, which is another few years to come, it's going to be a ride, and not an easy ride and not a good ride. But Jupiter going into Cancer could help. Jupiter going into Cancer could really help. The positive thing of Saturn and mutual reception with Pluto, if you think of it that way, could be a kind of cleanup, like this isn't adding up. But I think until June of 2013, when Jupiter leaves Gemini and goes into Cancer, we shouldn't take anything too seriously that anyone's saying about the economy. But I think as an astrologer, I have to read the planets without necessarily having all the information, right? Because then it skews my thinking. I know that Uranus square Pluto is messy change. And I know that Uranus in Aries is people who are angry about the fact that they don't have any rights and who are willing somewhere to take to the streets, right? But look what's happening in, the Middle East, in Syria. It's terrifying.
It is.
Right? It's horrifying.
In the 30s, during the last square, this story just so perfectly captured it for me. There was a boat, I forget what it's called, but it had about 900 and something people who escaped so that they wouldn't go into concentration camps. And this boat sailed around, and no nation would accept them. That just breaks my heart. That nobody thought these lives worthy to take them. They didn't want to upset Germany. And those people had no choice but to go back and go into concentration camps. And because of the noise they had created, I'm sure that their journey was made much, much, much more painful and short after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
I think...
And so I think we're doing that with Syria. That's what I think we're doing that.
Right,
yes,
sorry,
we're doing that now with Syria. And it breaks my heart.
It's heartbreaking. There was a kind of throwaway mentality, that is affecting the collective, that nobody really even gets.
Yeah, because those, you really see this notion in Eastern countries, right? And it's so interesting because we don't always in the West understand how what's happening there energetically is affecting all of us.
Well, we believe it's happening there, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And we we separate ourselves from each other a lot.
And we know that the Middle East is where it's happening because when Jupiter and Uranus went into Aries, that was the Arab Spring, right? That was the center of the world.
It feels like this burst came forward with Occupy, but they didn't have a focus. They didn't have a demand. That's it.
But they didn't want to have a demand.
Yeah.
I think it would be tragic if the Occupy movement didn't have any teeth until it had a singular demand. Because what it stands for is a much wider change that needs to take place. Because one demand and one, demand met doesn't solve the problem.
It's almost like you have to ask in order to receive. And it's admirable that it's more about a change of consciousness that they're really fighting for or wanting, but people don't know how to deal with that. That just comes across as so big.
That's their problem, is they don't want to feed themselves into the machine. Mm-hmm. They don't want the media to eat them, and they don't want to be fed into the machine.
Yeah, they don't want to participate in the political process or anything.
So as an individual, if you have that issue, you just become an astrologer.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm hoping that Saturn in Scorpio and the North Node in Scorpio, I think that this is going to be tremendously
So Saturn
helpful.
and Scorpio will conjunct all their Plutos.
Yes.
That could be good.
That could be very good. Yeah. Julie, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
The fourth time. Oh my God, you're welcome. You should come over every week. Let's just do this every week. I love you. Thank you. And thank you for being here to celebrate Julie and explore world events and elections with us. Until we connect again, take care.